Yo! Welcome to a long-awaited video on my response to the Xbox One announcement. I watched the PlayStation 4 press conference, or as much as I could. And I didn't talk about that as much, but, I thought it was able to stand on its own. With this, I could finally, kind of have a little comparison with this. I don't know how I feel about it. To me, it's everyone's gonna say wait till E3, wait till E3, wait till E3. But here's another thing that I want to throw out there. When Sony had their PlayStation 4 announcement, they talked about the sharing capabilities, the specs of the PlayStation 4, and all that. I mean, the only thing they did not show was the actual console, which to me is fine. I don't really care what it looks like. It could look like a whatever. But what I liked about the but in the PlayStation 4 announcement, they showed some games. They showed franchise. They even talked about some exclusive games that they're doing. Not just one, but multiple of them. And that to me is I think was much more important. And they showed what people wanted to see. And that left E3 talking about more about the console, but also more in depth than those games and a lot more stuff, and that opens Sony, to me, in a better position for E3. Microsoft, I don't know, every single press conference they've done has always been the worst, in my opinion, because they've always focused on one thing in in their press conferences, most of the time. Like E3, they kept talking about Kinect and casual games and all that. And this one, they released the Xbox One. I don't like the name. I don't like the name. I think the name is almost Wii U bad. In the sense of, when you go to a store and you see Wii U, you just think it's like an add-on for the Wii. Xbox One, to me, it's a stretch, but to me it makes me think of the original classic Xbox, and some people might think of it as a revamp of the first Xbox, but it's so irrelevant, so the name works and will make it market better, but I just think the name could have been better. I mean, they had Durango, which sounded weird, but, was fine. And then at one point there was Xbox Infinity. I would have liked Xbox Infinity. That to me was great. But the main thing I just didn't like about the press conference was they focused a lot on TV, and the only games they showed were multi-platform games. And they said, oh, this is exclusive to Xbox One, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that could be referring to the engine, but regardless, most multi-platform companies like EA want to make their games similar on all consoles at all times. So to me, this exclusive jibber jabber that EA is spewing about their sports games is irrelevant, and I just don't think it showcases anything very well. And to me, I was expecting just to talk about the games, and that's the one thing that it should have talked about. And people are instantly going to comment saying, "Well, they're saving that for E3." Well, then why didn't Sony not show any games? I mean, they showed games, and they showed exclusive ones at that. Microsoft could show 5 exclusive games, be like, okay, this game, one trailer for each. And then comes E3, they could show more about that game and more gameplay stuff, and they could have done it regardless. They could have shown games at this press conference. They just decided not to because they wanted to emphasize the features of the Xbox One, of streaming television, and having this and all that. And to me, I don't really care for that. And there was the same thing with the PlayStation 4 conference where I didn't care about sharing my data. I found it interesting in the PlayStation 4 conference because it was interesting to me. I like the idea of streaming my gameplay stuff and all that. And Xbox One is doing the same thing. And I find it interesting, don't get me wrong, but it's the same line with PlayStation 4 where I just don't care. But at least with Sony's PS4 announcement, they had games and showed them. They showed stuff from Capcom, they showed stuff from Square Enix, Bungie, And then you go to Microsoft and uh, leave with just sports and Call of Duty. And to me, that seals Microsoft's stance that they want soccer moms, they want the drunken fat boy bros who, want the next Madden and all of that, and that's fine. But I wouldn't base a console on those kind of games, personally. Now, do I like the Xbox One? I don't know. I need to know more of it. I like the controller, and with the camera, they're almost doing the same thing that Sony's doing with the PlayStation 4, where it comes with the camera, but uh, the integration of it is just the same thing with voiceover commands and all that, and that to me is I don't care. I don't care about voice commands. I don't care about Kinect. I don't care about cameras. To me, I have a sensor bar over there for the Wii. I have all this stuff. I really don't want to knock this stuff down just with the cameras. I really don't. I don't fucking care about cameras. I don't care. I just want to sit down and play games. And I get, oh, it does this and that. I don't fucking care. And I also find it funny that when the Wii started, they were saying, oh, it's a gimmick, 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 gimmick. Same with the Wii U. PlayStation 4 and 3 and Xbox One come out with these gimmicks, and no one seems to say that they're gimmicks. Kind of funny observation, in my opinion, but whatever. And I will say, people get shit on the Wii U all day long, but to me, the one thing I do like about the Wii U is when it was announced, they showed games, and that's all they talked about. I mean, they talked about the controller a little bit and all that, but they had a strong focus on games. It was like, okay, Pikmin 3, look at this. This is cool, right? Okay, news in Mario Brothers U and all that, that stuff. Then, you see Xbox One as just, okay, you get a football. Time to play football, buddy. And then they just talk about football. I don't know what fantasy football is. Is it like, to me, I just picture it, just the video game itself, because you're playing. I don't get fucking fantasy football. I don't get fucking sports. So that whole section was over my head. TV series, we were talking about a lot of TV. I don't fucking care about the TV. If I want to watch TV, I will turn on the TV. I won't buy the Xbox One to watch TV, Microsoft. I'm sorry. And they're saying that it's gonna be a hub. The one thing that they are not clarifying, they clarified at some extent some interviews, but they didn't really specify. This whole stance on used games and the idea that a game is tied to an account, and if you try to play the game on another account, you have to pay a fee to play it or something. And that to me it's a gray area where there might have been they might have meant something else with it, but they didn't clarify, and people are just taking it in one or the other. And to me, I do think it's a way to restrict used games, and if Microsoft is really going to use it in that aspect, then I really am not going to buy the Xbox One. Sorry. I mean, they did say it's up to the publisher, but, think about the publishers. If someone comes up to you and says, hey, we found a way to stop the used games, are they going to say, nah, it's all good, no, they're gonna hop on that instantly. So I don't really like this idea that they're pushing, or not pushing, but this option of having that. I don't know. To me, that is weird, and people are even speculating the PlayStation 4 was gonna have some way to lock out used games, and it's funny in the interviews they're like, yeah, we're not doing anything about that. I mean, it's all up to the publishers. That to me sounds like that they're just saying online keys, and that's all they're gonna be doing. Online passes and all that. Otherwise, they didn't say, okay, we have this technology that does this, and it will do this, and it will be tied to this account. They did not say any of that. They just said, we have no interest in stopping that. It's not our business. We're just trying to sell a console, and that's what Sony said. And that to me is fine. I don't want to hear, well, okay, so we found a way to help publishers lock used games. That to me is just in the other direction. You don't see movie studios doing that. They hate piracy, but you don't see them saying, okay, if you buy a DVD, you have to keep that DVD and shove it up your ass. It's like, no. But yeah, to me, overall, I need to know more about the Xbox One to get a solid opinion on it. But I just don't care. I'm glad the controller is simple, but other than that, I don't care. I mean, I'm more interested in the PlayStation 4. So there you go. There you have it. The PlayStation 4, to me, I'm more interested in than this. Not saying this is shit. I'm just more interested in the PlayStation 4 and what it can do. Thanks for watching. See you next time.